Well, hello everybody, Martha Krejci here. We are going to talk today about what I would expand on from what Rob Sperry talked about today in the 2020 April launch. Okay, so very first thing, if this is your first video, make sure that you click on the subscribe button. You also hit the bell so you get notified whenever any other videos go live. Okay, all right. So let's talk about the launch today, which was so awesome, you guys. Seriously, lemon foaming soap. What? I need so much of that in my life. Who got the bundle? I absolutely got the bundle, by the way. The number on the bundle, just so you guys know, if you didn't know what it was, is number 33203, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And that's the spring bundle, okay? And of course, this is for 2020. If you're watching this video in the future, yada, yada, okay? So, somebody that was a speaker today was Rob Sperry, and he is sort of like a network marketing, like a generalized network marketing guy. So he would be like, you know, how Eric Worre, Ray Higdon, those sorts of folks, which is awesome. It's awesome. But they also are speaking to lots of different kinds of businesses, right? So they're training people that are selling nail wraps, selling Tupperware, that sort of thing, all together, right? So I want to just expand on some of the things that he said in a way that is specific to Young Living, okay? And I'm going to just do this really, really fast, you guys, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of your time, but I do want you to really get a lot of like meat and potatoes from what happened today, because you guys, what he said was totally legit. I have my goal getters. I have a free group, goal getters, for Young Living Builders. We're at just about 11,000 people right now, just in the last 5-6 months, something like that. No, maybe it's been longer. I think it's been about 6 months. Anyway, I had a lot of those people that were like, it sounded like you talking up there. And it definitely did, because those are the same things that I talk about. What I also do is I drill down into what we in Young Living specifically can do with that stuff. Okay, so things that he was talking about were curiosity posts. He was talking about different posts that you can do on social media to be able to get people's attention. He was talking about messaging people, which is also something that I talk about. We were definitely jiving so far as the tactics that he was talking about. Those things that he was talking about, in my opinion, were very top of the iceberg things. And what I mean by that is whenever you are just looking at the top of the iceberg, it's just some things that are visible in somebody's business. But then after those things happen, like after you make a post, after you do those different things, what then, right? So say you message people, all right, so then what happens? What do you say in the message, right? How is that conversation supposed to go? And then whenever people respond to your social media posts, which are there for people to respond to, whenever they do that, then what do you do? Right? I feel like it still leaves people in that space where they're like, they may do it and then that's awesome. And then all of a sudden a bunch of people come at them, you know, like leads come at them, which is awesome. And then they're like, okay, now what? Right? And then you're stuck, but you don't realize you're stuck until you already got there. And then you're like, oh, now I have a lot of people to talk to and I don't know what to say to them, right? So we're going to talk about a little bit of that today, okay? So let me just make sure I'm at the same place in my notes that I'm meant to be. So yes, how do you handle the conversations? How do you keep people from falling through the cracks? This is a massive one. This is one that I had to deal with in the very beginning of my business, because I would do posts that would get like 20, 30 interactions and leads. And then I would have to figure out a way to be able to continue following up with those leads so I didn't completely lose them. And you'll find out very soon, once you start doing these things, you'll find out very soon that as you are getting more and more leads, I thought, so silly, I thought whenever I got all those leads, I was like, well, they're in my messenger, so I'll just go back to them and I'll see them in my messenger. You guys, you're going to start having so many leads that your messenger and conversations with people that your messenger is going to be like hard to deal with. Okay, you really need to keep your leads in a CRM. A CRM, just so you guys know, in case you were like, what did she just say? CRM is a customer relationship manager. There are all sorts of different kinds of CRMs. Really, at the end of the day, what a CRM is a way to manage your leads, manage your contacts, keep their info. It's kind of like an address book, but it also gives you notifications so you know when you want to reach out to them again. There should be a notes section where you can keep notes on the last conversation that you had, so the next time that you talk to them, you can refer back to that last conversation so you look like you remember what's going on, which is fantastic, you guys. Because you will start, at least as you're going through my stuff, as you're learning all of this, you're going to start having a lot of people that you're having conversations with. And I know that while we're in the middle of a conversation, we're always like, oh, I'll remember. We never remember, right? So it's important to have those notes in the CRM itself. So whenever you go back to it, you're like, oh, that's right, her dog had surgery. Okay, and then whenever you talk to her again, be like, I remember your dog had surgery last month. How is he doing? And then she's going to be like, oh, she remembered my dog had surgery. And you're like, yeah, that's why I took note of it, is because it was important to me. Like that's the good stuff, you guys. So that's a CRM. There are lots of CRMs out there. What I suggest is the one that I use, of course, which is Get Oiling. I run alongside Get Oiling with a lot of different things. I think they're fantastic. I actually have a link where you can get it for $1 for 45 days. So you're able to try it out basically for 45 days for $1. And that is, what is it? getoiling.com/Martha. That's pretty easy, right? Getoiling.com/Martha. So that is where you can, well, there's a lot of things that you can do with Get Oiling, and you can just go to the link and find out all the things you can do with it. But absolutely, the CRM is a very valuable piece of that, because you cannot, in my opinion, run your business like a business unless you've got a CRM running along with it, okay? All right. And then how do you actually follow up with those leads that you're getting? The 7 to 15 times that are necessary. You guys, there's a universal statistic across the board. 7 to 15 times is how often somebody needs to hear a message before they make a buying decision. There's another stat. Usually people stop reaching out and stop following up between 2 and 3 times. What does that mean? It doesn't take a mathematician, right? It means that there's a lot of people that stop following up between 2 and 3, but the person wasn't going to be ready until 7 to 15. What are we doing, right? What are we doing to bridge this gap of like not being annoying, and you're like, okay, I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm still here, I'm still here. Instead of doing that, you should have a creative way to systematize your follow-up so you're always top of mind and people are signing up with you even a year later. I have it happen all the time. Even a year later where they're saying like, okay, I'm ready to sign up now. And if I had only reached out to them 2-3 times and then done, then they wouldn't have reached out to me again, okay? Because I wouldn't have been top of mind, because that would have been a year ago. But instead, they were in my system. So they were systematically being followed up within my system, okay? My systems Go for Gold. Just in case you wanted, you can Google it. You can do whatever you want to do. I think there's a link in the description as well. All right, so let's talk about organizing your leads. And also what you're going to talk about in the actual, you like my notes? And then also what we're going to talk about in the actual conversation itself, because there are two big, like sort of blaring blind spots, I think, in the stuff that we learned today. Again, what he said was totally awesome. And I'm not saying he did anything wrong. He only had 20 minutes. I'm sure he would have elaborated on more. Okay. But I have more time because this is my channel and I'm going to elaborate more. Okay. So, basically I talked about the CRM already. Whenever you start talking to somebody, whenever you get a lead, the very first thing that I do is I stick them in my CRM, which means I open up Get Oiling, I go to manage, on the top left hand side, I go to manage, and then I go to create on the top right hand side. I put in the person's name. I put in what they wanted, like what question they had for me or what our conversation was about. And then I put in when I plan on following up with them again. Okay, that is the very first thing that I do, because then I'll get a notification that reminds me, Martha, you wanted to follow up with this person in 4 days. Oh, that's right, I wanted to do that. I'll get the notification in 4 days that will let me know that I need to follow up with them, instead of me having to keep in my mind like, okay, I remember I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. I don't know if any of you have other things that you do, right? Like all of us have other stuff that we're doing all day long. You can't sit there and just remember like, and I need to reach out to this person tomorrow and this person the next day. You guys put it in a CRM and let it notify you, okay? That's like business gold. And then also, like I said, the notes section of a CRM is so solid, you guys. Keep notes of what they were asking you about. Keep notes of what their needs were if you got into that part of the conversation. Keep notes of anything, of what's going on in their life. This is very, very important in your relationship building, okay? Because you don't always want to just be reaching out with some generalized stuff. You want to reach back out to them again in a follow-up. You want to reach back out to them again with something that was happening in their life and ask them how that went, right? Like that's the kind of thing that builds a relationship. The very first thing, like if you're just messaging people out of the blue, is the like, hey, how are you? Hey, I was just thinking about you. How are things? That's what I say, right? Hey, I was just thinking about you. How are things? Or if I've never talked to them at all before, I'd be like, hey, I just saw we were connected here. I see you live in Lexington, Kentucky. We wanted to go there this summer after all of this is over, right? We wanted to go there this summer. What would you suggest doing? I don't want to miss anything. Like it's building relationship with the people that are already in your network. So like the friends that you already have on Facebook and things like that. I talk more about that, you guys, in the Gold Getters group, okay? So if you're not already in there, hop on over in there, and then that's where I go into more of that stuff. I only have I have a relatively short amount of time right now. And then now let's talk about the conversation that happens. So say you've reached out to, I think he said reach out to 3 to 5 people a day. My suggestion is 10 people a day, because your results are going to scale. And that's what I do, is I reach out to 10 people a day. But my real goal for people is for you to reach out to as many people as you can sustainably reach out to. So I can sustainably reach out to 10 people a day and be just fine, right? Somebody else may only be able to sustainably reach out to 5 people a day. And what I mean by sustainably is not feel like they're drowning in conversations all day long. Okay? Because if you feel like you're drowning in conversations all day long, that's not sustainable for your spirit, and it's not sustainable for like your being, because you're going to always feel like you're behind and it's not going to feel good, thus not sustainable, right? So do whatever you can do sustainably. My only suggestion is don't do 0, okay? It's the only number that doesn't scale, all right? Anything else, your results are gonna scale and be awesome. 0 is the only thing that just plain isn't gonna scale, okay? So whenever you're talking to them, my suggestion would be to hit some benchmarks, okay? And it's called the Ford method, all right? So the first thing that you talk about, or that you sort of like, if you can bring the conversation around it, is you ask them about their family. Ask them about, something to do with their family. So, hey, how are you guys hanging in there? Like for right now anyway, for April 2020, again, people will watch this in the future, but for April 2020, we can definitely reach out to people and say like, how's the family doing right now? Like, are you guys okay? I'm just checking in on you. Like, I'm making sure that my friends are all right, right? So that's something that you could definitely say. So something family-based. The next benchmark that you want to hit is occupation. So, are you able to work from home right now? Are you, are you loving what you're doing? Something that is very telling in whenever you talk about occupation with people, something that's very telling, you guys, is whenever they say what they do for a job, then what you say is, oh, really? You must love that. Because they will definitely 100% let you know if they do not love that. Okay. And then you know that there's potentially an opportunity for you to be able to help them out with something that they might love more, or that they could at least supplement their income with if they wanted to, that they could potentially love more, right? So that is occupation. The third thing is recreation. So that's like, what do they like to do for fun? What vacations do you have planned for when this stuff is over? Where are you gonna go when you can leave your house, right? That's recreation. And then the last thing, you guys, is dreams and goals. And sometimes you don't get to dreams and goals, and that's totally okay. But usually dreams and goals can come alongside occupation. Just a heads up, okay? So whenever they're talking about their occupation, you could say, and they say that they don't like their job, you could say, like, if everything were perfect, like, what would you be doing, right? I always call it the Star Trek Society because that's what my husband calls it, and I totally love that. In the Star Trek Society, basically, if you could do whatever you wanted to do and money didn't matter, then what would you be doing, right? It's always an interesting question to ask people, because then you find out where their heart and where their mind really is. And I love finding out where people's hearts really are, because then you can speak to them in a different way than sort of like this surfacey thing that happens in a lot of conversations. I specifically can't do surfacey very well. I don't do surfacey very well. I have to get deep into things, or I don't feel like I just want to, like, I want to know about you, right? Like, I want to know who you are. I don't want to know, like, what the weather's doing, and like, that stuff just doesn't matter to me. But that's just me. And not everybody is the same, and that is totally okay. But that's just me. So really, whenever you finish all of those things, when you've had that conversation and you've hit those different benchmarks, and that's again called the Ford method, whenever you hit those benchmarks, then there's actually a way for you to be able to, what I call, convert the conversation. So you can convert that conversation if you've uncovered needs, okay, for Young Living, either product or opportunity. If you've uncovered a need, then you'll be able to convert the conversation into a Young Living conversation. Now, here's the deal, you guys. It is not sleazy. It does not feel gross. They will not feel like the only reason you were asking them questions was so you could get info and be able to sell them on something. They're not going to feel that way at all, you guys. It's so freaking perfect. I love it, love it, love it, because what it does is it brings our hearts out, serves it up on a silver platter, and is like, hey, I want to serve you. Like, that's pretty much what it is. So there's like a special sentence that I use for that, and that's in Convert the Conversation, which is in Go for Gold. Again, the link is somewhere around here. I don't know, description probably. But it's in Go for Gold. I'm going to suggest that you go into Go for Gold to get it. And here's the thing. I'm going to call out the elephant that you're probably thinking right now. She just said all of this stuff, so I would go buy Go for Gold. Yeah, I did. Here's the thing. The reason that I did that is because I know it's going to change your business. The reason that I did that is because I know it's going to get oils in every home. The reason that I did that is because my mission aligns with Gary's. The reason that I did that is because I want to see you successful, okay? And if you're in there and you see all of the stuff that's in there, not just Convert the Conversation, that's a small piece of it. There's a whole system. And once it's set up, you guys, it's all that you need. That is what I want for you guys to be doing. And it's also over half off right now, okay? So if you use the code new GG member, all one word, so NEWGGMEMBER, and that's it. You use that code, you're going to get over half off, okay? It's very, very inexpensive. And the reason that I led you up to that is because you guys need to do this. It needs to be done. Okay, we need to have systems that keep people from falling through the cracks. We need to have systems that keep us confident in what we're doing, confident in building our business, confident enough to be able to tell somebody else, hey, I can show you how to do this too, because you know how to do it, you guys. It's important that we come correct right now, you guys. The social media, the getting the attention on social media. Yes, exactly. But there's so much more to it, you guys. There's systems that need to be at play beneath all of that, or else none of it matters. Okay, I don't want you to get your social media posts up there, get the conversations, have the conversations, and then not know what to do next, guys. That's the thing. It has to be done. So anywho, there's that. Get over half off, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.